one of the things though, they have that in the making of book, and then they show you a picture of what I'm assuming was one of the statues around, and it's a guy, a really detailed statue of a guy wrestling a crocodile.
Oh.
I'm like, that's not in the movie. Like, that's a lot of effort clearly went into that. Where the hell is this? I've been scouring now, looking at all these shots of Gotham.
Let's buy the prop.
Is that supposed to be a reference to Killer Croc, or is that just, or we didn't probably think that far?
In a modern movie, it would be.
They probably didn't think that far.
I thought it might have been a reference to Eraser, because Arnie has to wrestle a crocodile. That makes more
sense.
Like, does he fall out of the plane while wrestling the crocodile, or does he falls from a plane into a lake and then a crocodile attacks him or something?
Niall, I haven't watched Eraser in a while.
I just remember he kills the crocodile and says, "Your luggage."
That's the only bit I remember is the killing of the crocodile.
I can't remember if it's like the crocodile's on the plane and then it attacks him and he falls out of the plane, or if he falls out of the plane and then the crocodile gets him. But it was around the same time. It wouldn't have been like, I was kind of like, maybe they did throw a little Arnie reference in there.
That makes more sense. My favorite part of the Arkham video games is the Riddler puzzles, because I'm so good at Batman trivia.
Oh, they're my least favorite because I'm terrible at it.
I just know them.
You might just be like a complete, the only person in the universe who have ever said my favorite part of the Arkham games is the Riddler puzzles.
For my birthday, since it was in quarantine, my boyfriend played a bunch of Arkham City and got to a point where but didn't do any of the Riddler puzzles, so I could do them.
Oh,
which is
love.
Bizarre, but I was so happy just finding like all the stupid little things. And he was like, "You already know the answer. You've done this like 7 times." And I was like, "Shut up."
Okay, now make a note. Next time either of us replays, we will grant access to our cloud saves. Okay.
I will do them in a heartbeat. I have so much fun.
I always do them at the bare minimum, and I cannot be bothered.
I do all of them, like all 400.
I remember trying to do, just to get to the cutscene, trying to do them in Arkham City and just giving up. Just been like, I can't. I just can't. Like, it was. And the thing is, I always find it a bit weird, like when the game's finished too, going back and hanging out in the city. I always find it kind of a little bit depressing. It's always like, oh yeah, the game's over now, I guess. But
it doesn't feel right.
I also, I love Professor Pig. He's one of my favorite modern villains because I love Grant Morrison. I love that run. It's so freaking good. So when I play Arkham Knight, if I replay it, I usually only play until I catch Professor Pig, and then I consider it done. I don't
that's all you need.
I was like, I did it.
You don't want to be screwing around in the Batmobile and stuff though.
Yeah. It's like Jason's free to go.
It actually feels like
he didn't do anything wrong. It's fine.
I do actually feel like the Matt Reeves universe he's setting up, like that feels like you might actually get a Professor Pig in this version of Batman.
I would cry. I would cry. Like whenever I'm talking about it, I'm like, you don't understand. It's spelled P-Y-G because it's after like Pygmalion, which is like a play, and it's also a Greek legend because he's making people beautiful, and like, and I'll just like be drunk at a bar doing this
to the bartender,
right? Who's like, "Lady, can you order?"
You go and put more opera on the jukebox.
My favorite part is when Alfred complains about the opera music that Professor Pig is playing.
That's so Alfred.
It's so Alfred.
I do love that. That's actually that's a great part of Arkham Knight, though, when you're just going around and you just hear this opera music in the distance. You're like, what the hell? Like the first playthrough, you're like, what is that?
Ghastly opera music.
They also do an incredible, at one point, when you find Solomon Grundy's hideout, that little creepy musical version of oh my god, I've scared the crap out of me. That was really, really genuinely disturbed me when I first heard it. But you do I imagine now though, Lizzie, like in the cinema when the Batman comes out, and anytime the Riddler poses a Riddler, you're like, wait a minute, sorry, no, I'll get it. Just give me a second.
I know, I'm so excited.
Pause the movie. Projectionist.
I'm gonna have like a notebook with me taking notes. Like, I'm gonna solve it before you, Bruce.
Hey, that won't be too hard. Bruce in these movies tends to, well, if it's like any of the other movies, he's a bit stupid, isn't he? He's not too clever.
I think we have a 4-year-old in the house, and obviously he's getting all like talking to him loads about Batman in general, but also like, oh, there's a new movie coming out, and the Riddler's the bad guy and stuff. But he doesn't know like he knows who the Riddler is, kinda, but then he doesn't know what a riddle is. So I've been trying to be like, well, a riddle is like, it's a question that's like fun to answer, and it always sounds harder than it turns out to be. So it always a really hard question that has a very simple answer and stuff. And the only examples I can give him of riddles, even though we said riddles every week, we had the whole running thing in the Forever season about here's this week's riddle and stuff. The only ones I can think of are the ones from Batman Forever. And so I had to do like, oh, well, it's like, take one off and scratch my head. What once is red is black instead. And the answer is a match. And he still doesn't understand.
He doesn't know what a match is.
Yeah, you could do the ones that are in Tom King's run of the war between Joker and Riddle, where they literally fight over what is a joke and what is a riddle. That's what the entire war between them is about.
That's I think we were finding a lot about it when talking about the Riddler at all last year. It was just like, this is a joke. This isn't a riddle.
I talked to when I met Scott Snyder and I spoke to him. I've met him a few times. He is the nicest human on the planet. He said, he's like, everybody loves stories with the Riddler, but as a writer, I hate them because I have to write the riddles.
And people will criticize your riddle if it's not good. That's the
Yeah, that's what they had to do that for forever, because we were reading the scripts. Like all the scripts were like riddle 1 to be written. Like they never had what it was.
Yeah,
and they had to go to the guy who did the ones for the guy who wrote the crossword puzzle for the New York Times. He was the one who ended up having to write them for them. But I just love that, because I told Killian that though, and he's just like, I have a riddle for you. And all his riddles now are all like, they're just rip-offs of the match riddle, where he's just like, what's black and white then changes color? And it never comes back. Just like, and it's always about something it's 2 colors and then it changes colors. Like, that's just a match thing. And I told you like 5 seconds ago.
Still a match.
But the thing, I got so excited then, because we did that, and then a week later, the trailer for the Batman came out, where the Riddler was like, what's black and blue and dead all over. I was like, oh, it's like a riddle he would make up.
But you can't really show him that though, can you?
Oh no, he's seen that, but it's just like,
but the finished product. I mean, he won't be.
Oh no, that. Yeah, he's asking now, can I go to see this Batman movie? And I'm like, I know it's. I don't think so.
No, not from the vibes I'm getting.
I know it's rated PG-13, but like, the Riddler looks like he's wearing a gimp mask, kid. Like I can't.
But he doesn't know what a gimp is.
Yeah, that is true. But it's like, I don't know. It seems like people getting murdered and their whole heads getting wrapped in duct tape and stuff. Yeah. Like, that seems a bit much.
I was shocked it got PG-13, because I know that they were talking about giving it an R rating for a while.
That's what I thought they were gunning for.
So,
like,
well, the whole vibe of like that first trailer was like, oh, this is gonna be hardcore. Like, it's gonna be, this is 7. Batman meets 7.
Yeah.
And then PG-13. You're like, huh?
maybe I'm. See, I wanted the Riddler to be, like an extreme, like 7, as you say.
Same.
So I'm thinking maybe he's not.
The thing is, though, The Dark Knight was also like, that's like a PG-13, and that's pretty intense.
That's true.
Well,
that's true.
I think movie ratings are like, whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter.
Yeah.
Because like, there are movies that are rated PG-13 that I don't understand and could easily be PG. And then there's R-rated movies that I don't understand and could easily be PG-13. And then there's PG-13 movies that I'm like, this has so much gratuitous violence. Why isn't this R? Yeah. And then I'm like, America.
Simple answer right there.
Yeah.
That's if we see one female nipple though.
Oh boy. R-rated. Does she look like she's enjoying it here? R-rated.
No, you're not allowed to do that.
No. Don't enjoy your time on Earth. R rating.